This is a first in a series of videos working with algebraic expressions. Going to have a look at multiplying monomials. Let's have a look. Before we carry on, please subscribe to this channel and visit sharty.co.za for some extra exercises. Monomials. I'm sure you can remember from a previous video, monomials are expressions with only one term. So an example of a monomial would be a squared, or x to the power of 3, or y. Remember that a term is separated by a plus or a minus. So when we're going to multiply these monomials, then we're going to have things like x times y. Let's have a look how that works. Multiplying monomials. These are expressions with only one term. The simplest form of it is something like a times a. And luckily we know how to use exponents, so a shorter way to write it is a squared. Let's have a look at our next example. There we've got b squared times b to the power of 4. If we write it out, the whole thing, we know that b squared means b times b. And b to the power of 4 means b times b times b times b. So how many times did we multiply b by itself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. B to the power of 6. So all we have to do is just add the exponents, and then we get our answer. For the next example, we're going to mix it up a little bit. We've got more than one variable in there, and we've got a constant term, but it's very easy. All we have to do is we can write it out again, or we can use our tricks that we know about exponents. But let's write it out. Let's say that's 3 times x times x. This is this first part, multiplied by x times y times y. Okay, there are no other numbers, no other constants that we can multiply. So 3 is the first part of our answer. We've got x times x times x, which is x to the power of 3, that we are multiplying with one another, and we've got y times y, which is y squared. So there we have our answer. I'm sure that you've noticed that 2 plus 1 is equal to that 3. We didn't have any y's in our first monomial, so that was just 1 times y squared. Multiplying monomials and polynomials are very easy. We just have 2 steps instead of 1. We just did the monomials, where we just multiplied one term by one term. Now we just have 2 terms, so we just have 2 steps. In our example, we've got 3x multiplied by, and then in brackets we have our polynomial. That's an expression with more than one term. So all we have to do is just multiply our monomial by each one of those terms. Let's do that. So we've got the 3x, x squared minus 2, and I'm going to multiply the 3x by the first term as well as by the second term. So 3 times 1 is 3. X times x squared is x to the power of 3. And because we're multiplying a positive with a negative, our next answer is going to be a negative, a minus. 3 times 2 is 6. And there's no other variables. So that's just x times 1 is 6x. And this is how we got our answer. Please remember that you have to know your exponents. So go and revise your exponents so that you can use all those rules in simplifying your algebraic expressions.